guys might recognize this one, so I won't even introduce it. If the sun refuses to shine.
BackstageAxxess.com. We're here in Buffalo, New York. We're backstage at Experience Hendrix with the one and only many Grammy nominations, and her accolades just go on. But I was going to say and introduce her as Susan Tedeschi. Susan, how you doing?
Wonderful.
Great. And anyways, she probably won't mention this, but she just has recently had a birthday, so we want to wish her a happy birthday.
Thank you. It was a big one.
28?
Yeah, 30.
30, okay. I want to be modest, you know, it's 30, okay. How did you get involved with Experience Hendrix?
I got involved through John McDermott, who pretty much is the main mastermind behind a lot of this tour. He was kind enough to ask me to come out, and I think originally it was Doyle Bramhall that got me involved with the project. I was supposed to come out a couple of years ago, and then just because of different tours with my husband or tours with my band, it didn't work out. So this is the first year, actually last March, when my husband was out with the Allman Brothers, that I came out with the Hendrix tour. And it was a blast. I had a lot of fun and made a lot of friends, and a lot of the musicians I've met anyway on the road over the years, last 10, 20 years. So it's just a really nice experience, and I'm always just happy to be here.
Her husband, by the way, in case anybody didn't know, is the one and only Derek Trucks, so just letting you guys know that out there. What songs are you performing on this run?
I'm doing If 6 Was 9, Spanish Castle Magic, and One Rainy Wish. And tonight, I think we're going to have to do Little Wing because some of the guys' flight got delayed. So I'm going to be covering for David Hidalgo, who's one of my favorites. So I'm kind of a little bummed out that him and Caesar aren't here, but they'll be here late tonight, or at least for the show in Cincinnati.
How does the process work when you get involved with something like this? Do you get to pick and say, I want to do this song, or they say, well, Susan, I think you fit this one? How does that work?
Well, basically how it works is, this tour has been running for a few years, so some of the artists that have been here for a long time actually do a certain set amount of tunes, and pretty much whatever's left, you try to think about, what would I want to do that's left. And originally I really wanted to do Spanish Castle because it was a song I did with my band, and I knew Johnny Lang did it too. So we started doing it together last tour, and then this tour he actually took over some new songs. He's doing Watchtower and a couple other things. So I'm doing Spanish Castle with Brad Whitford from Aerosmith, and Mato Nagy from Indigenous, and Chris Layton and Scott Nelson. And so I use that band mostly for If 6 Was 9 and Spanish Castle, and I play guitar on those songs. And then the other song I do is One Rainy Wish, and that came about from Eric Johnson. He asked if I would sing that with him, and it's a beautiful song, and he plays it wonderfully. So I do that song with him and the rhythm section. It's really nice.
You're basically running the gamut tonight then.
I get to sit in with a few people, but there's so many artists that I don't think it'll be too noticeable. Trust me. I mean, there's so many wonderful artists. So.
You mentioned Chris Layton. You worked with Chris before, haven't you?
I have. I used to work with Chris and Tommy back in '99. Came out on the road for about 8 weeks, and it was a blast. Loved touring with Double Trouble, and we did some different things. It was a blast, and I'm just happy to be back playing with Chris. And his birthday's tomorrow.
Oh, so happy birthday to Chris, and he's outside the room, so you won't hear us, but happy birthday anyways. Stew Revival is a band that you compromise, or it's a band basically with your husband Derek, and you have done many of tours with him, and we talked about earlier how you did a tour this summer that we were privileged enough to see you in Lewiston, New York. How beneficial is it for you to actually play with your husband, obviously, because then you get to bring the whole family out with you?
It's amazing. And actually, this new project, we're not calling it Soul Stew Revival. And the reason why is because, that was one band, and we had certain musicians in that band. And this is a whole new band. So this band, there's a couple people that come back, from both bands. But since it's a new group, this is really a new project for us. We're actually doing a record together, which we're recording in December. And it is great in the summers. The kids can come out with us, but they can't come out in the winter because they're in school. And my son has baseball, and, it's just, yeah. So the kids have got all, their own things going on as well, and it's really not fair to them to pull them out of school. So, and we can't really afford to have a private tutor on the road with us. So, it works out great, though. My husband's mom, well, Derek's mom, is amazing, and she's there to help us with the kids when we can't be at home. So
they have adorable kids, and you had to see them this summer watching their parents play on the side of the stage. It was very cool to see that. You and Derek are actually going to be doing a tour of Australia. You guys looking forward to that?
Oh, yeah, very much so. Playing Australia and New Zealand in April. The two of us have both been asked separately for our bands to come and play the Byron Bay Festival and just have never been able to do it. And so this year we're like, we got to do it. It's just one of those things, we both want to do it, and they've been so amazing just to ask us, and it's a huge festival over there, so we're really looking forward to doing it. And I'm excited too because we get to do it with B.B. King and Bob Dylan, so that can't be a bad thing.
Right. Out of all the musicians you've shared the stage with, you just spoke about B.B. King, Bob Dylan. Who's the one artist that you like? This is the artist I really would like to do something with.
Well, those two, I've been fortunate enough to work with both of them, and they are both on the top of the list. With Willie Nelson, who I've been very fortunate also to do a lot of things with. But gosh, on the top of my list right now, I guess it would be Eric Clapton and Stevie Wonder. Love to work with those two on a project. That would be amazing. But for right now, I'm just so happy getting to play with my husband, who really is one of my favorite all-time musicians, and Oteil Burbridge, his brother Kofi Burbridge. Those two have a magic. So getting to play with this band that we're in now, it's sort of a dream band that I just always, hope to aspire to. And it's a great band because it challenges me, and we've been writing a lot more. We just wrote about 30 new songs. So there's definitely a process that's exciting and moving and growing, and it's just nice to not be plateauing. Right. It's nice to be challenging yourself at all times, and this band is exciting. And I love it. And there's so many artists out there I would love to work with. I just worked a tiny bit with Los Lobos on their last record, but I would love to do more work with David Hidalgo. I think he's fantastic. And I love the Wood Brothers, which is another band that is out there doing it, writing great songs. And it's really just a duo of two brothers, Oliver Wood and Chris Wood from Medeski Martin and Wood. And they're fabulous. It's just, so many people you want to work with, just not enough time in a day.
And Susan mentioned Derek as being one of her favorites, and I didn't put it up to her, Derek. She actually said that on her own, so if you watch this, there was no hand tying. She really enjoys playing with you, okay? Just had to say that. Hint, hint, joke, joke. Back to the River was your last solo effort in 2008. Obviously, that garnered a Grammy nomination. Is there any, you talked about working with Derek, but what about a future Susan Tedeschi, solo effort?
Well, Derek and I are really going to put a lot of effort into doing this project now and have it be sort of like both of our solo projects just combined, and really both try to focus on writing and helping accentuate the strengths of both of us. So right now that's really where our focus is, but I'm sure in the future we will both do solo work again. It's just we're really just trying to go for it and see what happens. And it's wonderful getting to tour with him and not be in separate cities and separate beds and blah blah blah. So I really enjoy being with him, so it's nice.
I don't know if the fans out there know this, but Susan graduated from Berklee School, Berklee College of Music, with a degree in musical composition. So my funny question would be, do you get
actually not musical composition?
Music?
It was a double major. It was called professional music, but it was a degree in performance and arranging.
All right.
So I used to write for horn sections, but now I don't.
Okay. So one of my questions would be, do you get a lot of artists can't read their own music, and would they go up to you and say, I can't, what is this, Susan, can you help me? And you get a lot of that? Or?
Well, what's interesting is there's a lot of amazing famous musicians who, some of them don't even know how to read and write. Never mind know how to read music. And some of the big ones, I won't give them away, but some of the big artists, they don't know necessarily how to read music, but at the same time, I really don't think you need to. I don't think it's really about that. I think that's one of the things I learned at Berkeley is that, music is music, and if it sounds right, then it pretty much is right. It doesn't have to be technically perfect, the harmony and the reharm and everything. So that's one of the beauties about music is it's a language that you can speak with people that don't even speak your language. So you can go to France, you can go to Japan, you can go play with people, and they know the language. And it's really, a lot of people play by ear so much that they're usually actually more accurate than the people that are technically thinking, oh, I'm playing an A, I'm playing a C, because those people can mess up. They're not listening necessarily. So I really don't get that too much. If anything, I'm actually usually the one going, oh, Teal, what are you playing? Can you show me that? So these guys, I'm around people that are way more advanced than I am and playing inversions and things in a way that I never even imagined. So for me, I think I'm really the student.
Well, talking about earlier that when you go on tour with Derek and you're on tour with Experience Hendrix and you're working on a new CD and you're just so busy and you're just, taking the kids to the baseball practice and whatnot, what does Susan Tedeschi like to do when she likes to relax?
Gosh, I like to do a lot of things. I've been surfing lately, which is a new hobby. I never had surfed in my life. That's a lot of fun. I like to fish. Well, my husband loves to fish, and my son does too. I love football, so I like to go to Jaguars games. Go Jags. They won yesterday with that badass Hail Mary. Woo! Yeah, David Garrard to Thomas. Okay, anyway. So I really enjoy sports. I really enjoy, traveling and fishing, everything from fly fishing to deep sea fishing. I love nature, so I like to go running. I like to, ride bikes. I pretty much like to swim and do anything adventurous. So I like to do a lot of things.
Okay, so she does get out to do stuff. I mean, besides working like 360 days a year, it seems like, right?
Yeah, 260. No, I don't know.
You kind of just gloss over again, what can the fans expect from you the rest of 2010 going into 2011?
Derek and I are going in the studio in December. We're putting this record down for Sony, and we're doing a New Year's Eve show in Jacksonville, Florida, where we live, and we're doing another show, I believe, in Tampa, or maybe not Tampa, maybe it's somewhere else on the west coast of Florida. And that's really it for the rest of the year, other than the Hendrix. So pretty much the holidays, kids, and a couple shows, and making a record, which is a bulk of the work.
Right. Okay. Well, expect the new record in April, you said?
Well, in April we're going to tour, so I think the record should come out in the spring. We haven't released a date because it's not done yet. So as soon as it's done, then they can say this many months. So it'll be soon. It'll be April, May, June, somewhere in there.
Well, expect a new CD release from the Derek Trucks and Susan Tedeschi Experience, or what are you guys calling it?
We need help. We don't know. We're trying to find a band name. We want to get a new band name that helps encompass this unit, because it's so special, and we don't want it to just be Derek and Susan, blah, blah, blah. So if we had our way, we would have a name right now, but we're working on it.
Bands United?
Bands United? Nice. Maybe.
Well, anyways, when you see these guys out, they'll be playing together with a name that's still being cooked up, so to speak, and they'll have a new CD out, and they'll probably have their kids out on tour, and they're going to have lots of other things going on. And you definitely want to see, like I said earlier, she's amazing live. Her husband and her take it to another level, and we appreciate Susan taking the time to talk to us today. Susan, thank you very much. Appreciate it.